What's up, YouTube? It's been a million years since I've done a review, but I wanted to watch the full series of Selena. El secreto de Selena is the full title of the story. I have a new camera, which is my phone, my new phone, and I'm gonna upload this instead of doing a live stream because I don't think this merits a live stream because it's gonna be short. I say that, but it is. My overall on this was, it wasn't, I don't want to say good. I don't want to say bad. It wasn't what I expected or wanted. I didn't want it like that. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. But there was production issues too. Like, it's cheap looking. The wigs were cheap looking. The costumes were cheap looking. For something that had to do with Selena. And, sorry. For something that had to do with Selena. Something that was important to her was her fashion. Her style. Her aesthetic. Her look. I'm not saying that the actress didn't look like her. She kind of looked like a combination of her and J-Lo from the movie. I didn't hate the idea. I didn't love the idea of the character. Because here's the thing, before I jump forward, this wasn't really about Selena. It says the secret of Selena, but it's not really about her. I'll get to that. Like I said, the sets were kind of cheap. Everything was cheap looking. Like, they rushed the production, or they didn't have the budget, or this was like a pet project of some. It was a pet project of Maria Celeste Araras, who wrote the book, and this is what the production company that she picked could do. I don't know, but I don't understand why. This is a big thing, right? And you get the cheapest freaking wigs that are like $3 wigs. Splurge, please. It's Selena. And I guess the production aside, now we go into the big picture of why I didn't like it. There's another thing I didn't like about it. Well, like writing wise. When I said that Selena's not the main character, she isn't. There are two main characters to the story, and one is Yolanda Saldívar, and the other one is Maria Celeste Araras. And Selena is just a background character. And I get what they were trying to do, but the way they used her, because Selena's kind of, I don't know how to explain her. She's kind of important for us kids in the 90s and kids now. When she died, it was pretty fucking awful. And it's kind of hurtful still. Her death is pretty hurtful. And for Maria Celeste to make it not cheap, but tawdry, salacious. She used her innocent imagery that she had and spinned it into a salacious thing. And they were gratuitous. In the second episode, they were kind of really gratuitous with the autopsy scene, in the sense that just show you her dead body. Not her actual dead body, but the actress standing in for her. They show her dead body sitting there. Lying there, I should say. Just cold on a slab, and that was painful to look at. That's not something you just use for entertainment, in my opinion. I will get to the parts I did like. There are some elements I did like in the show. I'm getting a little emotional because, like I said, I like Selena. She was part of my childhood, and I connected deeply with her music and her. She was like something to live up to, and the fact I'm a lot older than she ever was. I'm 10 years older than she ever got to be, and that's pretty sad. And that's the part that I love about this series. That Maria Celeste gave a sympathetic flair to to Yolanda Sardivar. They gave you like explanations as to why she would do this, and she's justified in doing this. At least it looks that way in the first part of the series. They give you like she was coerced to have oral sex or hand job with a boyfriend. I don't know. She was a nurse, and they give you this creepy shot of her with a kid. I don't know if that was supposed to establish that she was a nice person, or that she might have just killed that boy. Who knows? And there's another thing. I don't know if I should count this as a review, because I didn't finish. I finished watching it technically by watching the last episode, but 3 episodes I skipped by mistake because I was sick and tired, and also I wasn't gonna put effort into looking for it because I was angry at the show because, like I said, it kept making her sympathetic, making her the victim. The murderer is the victim here in the story, at least again in the first half. So the narrative is Maria Celeste is paralleling her early career with Selena's last days, and they show you her last days, that she met this doctor character that I don't never remember about, that he's supposed to be an important person in her life in her last days, that she cheated on Chris, whatever, supposedly, maybe, I don't care. Here's the thing about dead people, dead celebrities, that they always try to tell you, oh, they cheated on their spouses, so that makes them something. And I'm like, so? That ain't my business. What are you trying to, like, they can't defend themselves, so what's the point of this line of, like, narrative? What's the point? What are you trying to tell me? I don't care. They're human beings. And she can't defend herself. She can't say she did or didn't. The only one who's still alive is the scumbag that they kind of alluded to, that he was a, narco. So, who cares what he has to say? Who cares if it's true? I don't care. Who cares what the murderous bitch has to say? She murdered her. Who cares? I don't give a crap. None of what she says is fact. There's one episode that I missed that I would have wanted to see, which was the episode where they talked about the ballistics and the logistics of the murder, which would have, like, because there's one thing that they always talk about, and they always they use her perspective, Yolanda's, and her perspective never makes sense. And I'll tell you what. She shot her in the back. She shot her in the back. If you're innocent and it was an accident, how would you shoot somebody in the back that was all the way to the door? 2 things could happen. There's always 2 scenarios that they have. Either Selena told her that was it, we're done as friends, you used me, I don't want to be friends with you no more, and she pulled out the gun and Selena started to run and she shot at her. Or she said all the stuff that she had to say, she left the hotel room, was about to leave the hotel room, she didn't even see the gun, she took it out of the hiding place and shot her. And somebody pointed out in the series and in on TV, if it was an accident, she was a nurse. She could have done anything to save her. She could have sutured her or stopped the not suture her, but stop the bleeding, try to stop the bleeding, and call 911. There was no evidence that she ever called 911. And I don't understand. Why does the media play her version of the story all the time? I don't give a shit about her story. Her story is stupid. She's a horrible human being. She should rot in jail and stay in jail. That's all I care. I don't give a shit about her story. Selena can't even tell her side of the story. Like they say in the narrative, there's two people in that room that know the truth. One won't say it, and the other one is dead. Like I alluded to, there's a doctor character that supposedly I don't know. They took 13 episodes to get nowhere really. They didn't say much of anything. They didn't say anything groundbreaking. They kind of played. That was another thing that annoyed me. They kind of played the queer angle, like, is she bi? Is she not? When the author knew the answer to the question by the end of the story, by the beginning of the story, because she's writing it. Araras is writing the story. So she knows the answer, so I don't understand why in the beginning they use these will she, won't they, kiss each other kind of, but they never go beyond not, you know, in the 90s when there was like, let's say queer baiting. They say queer baiting or gay baiting, like they get these two same sex couples, same sex people together, and they flirt kinda, they dance kinda, they like each other kinda, but they never get together. They're always straight, but you know that they're gay, but they never make them gay. It's just like, they're gay, but you know. And they leave it like that. They kind of did that with Selena in the beginning with Yolanda. It was pissing me off. Not because of lesbianism or anything. That's not a fucking problem. It was using that to sell the story, and this, you know, like a scandalous. Ooh, she's a lesbian. Ooh, that pisses me off. So there's it's one of those things that goes back and forth to the present, to the past, to the present, to the past. And then it gets to the court. I didn't like the court scenes that much. Yeah, I lived through the court scenes as a kid. I would run away from that. I would leave the room and my father would turn it on and I wouldn't watch it. I couldn't. Because that woman inspires a lot of anger in me. She has a cynicism that is so disgusting. She is a cynical, maniacal, manipulative, evil person. And to see her other than that, like a sympathetic little person that couldn't do no harm, and this is one of the only times she did it. No. She's a horrible human being. And I hope she rots. A subplot in the story was Araras' marriage, which if you are Hispanic and watch Telemundo and Univision, sorry, you know who she is. You know what she's a damn good journalist. I admire her. She's Puerto Rican from my island, and I love her. I'm not quite happy with her in this situation, but that's her story to tell, that's her thing. I'm not gonna knock it. The only Like, the story is her husband, if you know, her husband cheated on her with the nanny or something like that. I don't remember what it was. And they were using the juxtaposition between that and Selena's, like, relationship with her husband, which was kind of like a non-relationship if you pay attention to it. They displayed it as a sorry, as a, like, a mirage, like a facade, like a happy facade. And he was always a stoic, quiet dude that didn't really say much. He's kind of like that in the movie. If you watch the Selena movie, he's kind of quiet, stoic, keeps to himself. And then the father. And there's one accusation that I'd never heard of that Yolanda says during the court to save her ass. And that's the thing that they kind of go back and forth in the memories with Selena. That she tells Selena that her father, Abraham Quintanilla II, raped her. That's pretty fucked up that she says that. I don't believe her because she's a lying sack of shit. And she tends to always make up stories in the sexual kind for some reason. And that dude wouldn't touch her for the last man on earth. Only because, not because he's honorable, because she was poor, and I think they tried to establish she was poor in like, a type of Mexican culture. Like, I don't know, like, I hope, I hope they weren't saying that she was native, like a native tribe of Mexico, because she spoke kind of like a slang Spanish. Sorry, I just cough from time to time now. And then I guess they're trying to say, oh, she's poor, she came from bad, like, places, so she had a choice. There's a thing that they establish, that kind of, okay, when I said in the beginning that they kind of make her look like the victim, they do in the beginning, but they also, like, they tell you her side of the story, the way she presented it. But the visuals are different than what she's presenting. They show you the actual facts of what she did. Hold on. They showed you that the fact, like, she bought the gun, then brought it back, and, like, to get a refund because she didn't want it, and then bought it again. She premeditated. I don't understand why they gave her second-degree murder and a chance of parole when she should have had third-degree murder and life without parole. I don't understand that. It's fucking Texas. They would have executed her ass. Not that I agree with that, but you know what I'm saying? She got off lucky. And then she pretended that she was gonna kill herself. But none of that shit in the story, like, if you read what happened, if you were in the moment, if you watched the movie, if you watched the show, if you read what happened, none of that makes sense. Why didn't she kill herself after she shot Selena? Why did she draw it out? Because it was like a standoff with SWAT and a negotiator. Because she had a gun pointing at her head. I guess she was her own hostage. It was ridiculous. all the considerations that she got. She was so lucky. And I guess I go for my favorite parts now. The court things happen. I miss most of the court. Like I said, I missed 3 episodes. I missed most of the court things, and I don't like the court. I didn't like the court when it started. I'm sorry. So, the court thing happened, and then the story concludes with Araras writing the book. I think she separates, or she has a tumultuous relationship with her husband. They separate, get back together, separate, get back together. I guess. Her show, now she's in her own show. She's no longer on the other one. Sorry, I yawned. I didn't want to show you. It is late. And they show this one part that I thought it was artistically good. In the beginning of the show, it's kind of like it loops back to the beginning. In the beginning, it shows Selena going to the hotel that she dies in. Or inn. I think it's an inn. And it shows her in the going to the door where Yolanda is at. And there's a moment she hesitates, and then the narrator says something and she leaves, but then she comes back. But in the end, they go back to the scenario, and she leaves, and she's just happy, and she looks at the camera, and and it made me cry. Like she's alive. At least in that scenario that she landed. It was one little second of decision that changed her existence. If she just left and never opened that door, she might have survived. She would have been alive. That part I liked. It was a roller coaster of a show. It made me go through some strong feelings, to be honest with you. I think it's gonna be on Netflix. I think they said they're gonna put it on Netflix. So check it out on Netflix. If not, they have it on. I think they have it on Telemundo itself, or they might put it on Hulu. I have no clue. Or read the book. It is a book. There is a book. There's 2 editions. There's the first edition and the 20-year anniversary edition. Read the book. Maybe you will like it. I'm blinded by the rage of hating that woman that murdered her, so I can't. Do I recommend watching the show if you are a Selena fan? I don't know, because Selena isn't really there. She's just a character. She's not even there. She's like background, almost. She's not. And it took the character actress, let's say 4 episodes to her to get Selena, and in the end, she got the smile down, but she doesn't get much dialogue. Is what I'm trying to say. She doesn't get dialogue. She doesn't get enough time to breathe as Selena. So it's hard to say that is it her fault? No, because she's never supposed to. Because Selena isn't the focus. If it made sense, like her as a person isn't the focus. It's not like the movie. It's not like a biography. It's like a procedural, trying to figure out the mind of the killer, and the motives. They portrayed Abraham that pretty bad. I always felt bad for him because everybody, including my mother, hates him. Because he was like, he put his daughter to sing and work, and everybody thinks that he sent her to do that, and I don't think he did. I think Selena did that because she kept on a relationship with her secretly. So, I always felt bad for him, but I felt more bad for the mother. Always felt more bad for the mother. But, and that whole family has been completely uprooted, and I understand that. Sorry. I don't understand. I don't understand why they always have to find a villain in the family member. Like, the killer is the problem. The killer did it. Leave the dad alone. Oh, he tried to profit off of her death. She's a star. If you don't if you don't keep her name out there, her star will fade away. It's kind of a catch-22. You're profiting off of the dead body of your child, but if you don't, she's gone. So it's kind of weird. It's a weird, stupid system we have on. That. I don't think Maria Celeste likes it. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if she ever believes that he did rape Yolanda. I don't know. There is no way to figure that out. I don't know. Like I said, watch it if you want. Don't read the book if you want. They have an English version because I saw it in the story. It says The Secret. They probably have multi languages if you don't speak English or Spanish. So, there it is. My review of this series that kind of made me feel awful. And sad. And it's not because it's just, at least in the movie you can enjoy her life, and they don't really show her die, but they show her the aftermath. It's still pretty sad, but it's not so graphic and so in your face that it makes you pretty freaking sad. So yeah, that's my review. It's a mixed bag, is what I have to say. I wish they did the Luis Miguel part 2 of the series, but I don't know if Luis Miguel wants to reveal the truth, so maybe that's the issue. And, well, that's me. That was a review. Maybe I'll come back sometime with a different review. I don't know if if the channel's gonna be here, because YouTube kind of changes the rules every 5 minutes, and everything's messed up, if you know. As you know. The cool about my statement there is it could mean anything at any time. It could be relevant forever. Because YouTube always just... But whatever. I'll be here as long as I can be. Peace.